everyone. Welcome to EduMatch. Thank you so much for joining us. So tonight I'm super geeked because we are talking about the possibilities in your classroom with STEM. And this is moderated by the amazing Dr. Toutoule Ntoya. So we're going to kick it over to him in just a second. But before we do so, we're going to have the panelists introduce themselves. So we're going to go from my right to left because it's going to look like left to right for our viewers. So we'll start things off. Brief introductions. Let's start first with Coach Jeffrey.
Hello, everyone. My name is William Jeffrey. I am a Science K-12 coordinator and curriculum specialist for science in Southeast Texas. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Jeffrey. Shout out to my wife and family.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for being here, Coach. Great to have you. All right, we're going to save our fantastic moderator for last. So we're going to go next to Ronnie.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ronnie. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, where I currently serve as a primary school STEAM coach. And I'm also the founder of my life's mission, Fun Weird Science, where we provide positive interactions with kids early in the area of STEM.
Sweet. Well, welcome to EduMatch. Great to have you on, Ronnie. So super excited to jump into the convo today. All right, next up, we have Eric.
Hey everyone, I'm Eric Garcia. I'm a first grade STEAM teacher at Browning Road STEAM Academy in McFarland, California. I live in Bakersfield, and this is will be my 13th year teaching. So can't wait. I love STEAM and STEM in the classroom.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Eric, and welcome to EduMatch. And next up, we have an EduMatch regular. But we want to see you even more regular, Christy K, because we love you. So if you could please introduce yourself.
My name is Christy K. Hello, everyone. I'm a digital innovation consultant in West Texas. I work with 42 rural school districts out in the middle of the big country, and I love that I get to explore a lot of variety of the STEM aspects with my different grade levels, pre-K through 12, and with administrators and principals, teachers, etc. So it's really great.
All right, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us, Christy. And without any further ado, we're going to bring it back to our moderator of today, Toutoule. If you could please introduce yourself and then jump right in with the very first question.
Hey, everyone. My name is Dr. Toutoule Ntoya, and I am an instructional coach and just doing a lot of work with some local districts here in Southern California around maker spaces and STEM. And when Sarah asked for some folks to moderate a session, I was like, I've got to talk about STEM because that's what I do. I love the STEM life. So I reached out to some of the panelists here to get us talking about authentic STEM experiences. You know, when I walk around and I'm looking at schools and schools say they're doing STEM, a lot of schools are doing a great job with STEM, but their schools are looking for ways to integrate STEM. And what does STEM look like? So I want to start us off with what does an authentic STEM experience look like? And anyone can jump in. This is free flowing, baby.
I'll jump in. So, you know, for me, whenever is student driven, right? So when students are invited or allowed to explore based on their interests to answer some of the questions in the natural world around them, to me, that is the most authentic STEM or STEAM engagement.
I love that interest. Who else wants to jump in?
Okay, I'm going to jump in right here. I'm going to say that STEM and STEAM is cross-cultural. That STEM is just not one group or one socioeconomic group who are participating and excelling in participating in robotics competitions or maker spaces, that it is a gambit of all different people, of all different students, just really focusing on their career and the possibilities that that dictate their future.
Yeah, my thought also is what both of you said, but also as well as how the students are engaged. The students are authentically engaged in what they're doing. Like you said, you build relationships and you get to know your students and pique their interest. Because once you pique their interest, it is so authentic. They are so interested. They're so engaged, and that's the best part of the students are authentically engaged in that activity or activities.
And I would like to piggyback off of something that Coach Jeffrey said, because I feel like that only in school is everything subject oriented and divided out into subjects. In the real world, everything all blends, and we have to problem solve. We have to do tasks that are STEM focused in everyday activities that may not necessarily be focused around just science or just technology or just engineering or just math, and if you include the arts. And so one of the things I really, really love to do is to try to help teachers bring the STEM elements into that ELA and social studies environment too, and to show that sequencing and patterning, problem solving skill sets, and building on previous learned tasks and scaffolding that learning happens everywhere. And that if they can hone those skill sets inside of the STEM environment, that it will translate into other subject areas.
That is so good. You guys said so many things I want to touch on. The idea of interest has been, it's been something I've been kind of thinking about and what it looks like. And when I'm seeing students who are able to garner some type of interest in what we're doing and have autonomy in approaching that interest, I'm seeing so much just student growth and teacher growth, because when teachers see how students get more into the lessons, engagement, they also know that this is what we need to do, and to be able to give students that autonomy in their classrooms. And Christy Kate, you talked about this idea of integrating these different STEM disciplines. Can you guys talk a little bit more about what that might look like in the classrooms? Because I know a lot of schools are looking at ways to integrate STEM. If I'm a STEM school, what is it that I'm doing? If our school is STEM, what does it look like? So maybe can you guys talk about what that integration of the different pieces of that STEM might look like?
Currently, where I work, I'll start it off. Currently, where I work, there's a concerted effort in our elementary classrooms to integrate science in math and reading and writing. We use a process called claimed evidence reasoning. And even on our district assessments, we have our students to write about science. The issue is, we know that in the future, because of the way the world is changing, that they will have to apply these abstract skills. So basically, that's what we are actually focusing on, those abstract skills of just showing basically what you said, Dr. Toutoule, that, you know, everything is congruent. Christy said the same thing, and I just reiterate what everybody on the panel says, but it's just a straight line of how everything is integrated and not how everything is separated.
What we try to do is, like Christy said also, is integrate all the core subjects. It doesn't necessarily, for us, doesn't mean you create a STEM project for math. You create a different one for science. You create a different one for language arts. You want to try to see what you can combine together to create a STEM, like a STEM lesson that integrates all of your lessons, your math, your ELA, your ELD, and that way it's more, like I said, more authentic, more you're not working as hard. You're not working to have 4 different lessons instead of just do one, and something that is memorable for the students.
So in my current role, we're IB school. So we have a transdisciplinary approach where we do collaborative planning on a weekly basis. So we have a central idea or question that we're focusing on throughout the unit, but with that planning element, we're able to pull in all of the specialist teachers that are supporting the teachers and the kids also, to be able to reiterate those focus areas in different parts of their school day. And in the classroom, the teachers are taking that transdisciplinary approach to not teach those subjects in isolation, but as the other panelists have said, finding ways to combine and align that.
And if you're looking for something tangible here in this moment, I find that kids are a lot more authentic in blending it than the teachers are. The teachers like to segment things out. Part of that is an ownership of their own content area, but many of my educators have a hard time drawing the connection themselves, but watching the students draw the connection. So when I come in, I don't care if it is at a elementary, pre-K, early childhood level, or if it's at the high school level. The easiest one, and someone said it, is to start with the writing concept. and having them understand that kids have to, the teachers that teach writing will talk about having kids understand to write first and then and next and finally. And those are all steps that have to be included in programming. And so it's easy to make that jump and that connection. I start all the way down with the little bitty students, and I might bring in an Ozobot and have them to tell a story with the Ozobot. And the kids have no problem doing it. The teacher has a problem check marking that these are standards that I've covered, when in their mindset they went, oh, this is a STEM moment happening. And you have to turn around and say, but now let's pull out all of your writing teaks. And that's the standards here in the state of Texas. And let's see which ones we've checked off. Without even, quote, trying to teach writing.
Yes,
I love that.
Yes,
yeah, go ahead.
There's a really good resource that comes to mind that I strongly recommend. It's called Make Writing, where it provides these essential strategies to turn writing time or writer's workshop for those schools that follow that approach, and finding ways to kind of incorporate that maker type STEM approach in your writing as well.
I think Eric, you were gonna
yes,
jump in and say something.
I think that's the part that we just started to become a STEAM Academy. So this is our first full year trying to become a STEAM Academy. We did it towards the middle of the school year this past year, and it's having teachers understand that some of the things that they're already doing in the classroom is a STEAM related lesson. And seeing that, checking off that list and seeing, you know what, oh, that, like Christy said earlier, that process of writing is just like the process of coding. And that's the thing that teachers, at least at our school, have a difficult time transferring over.
That's interesting. I heard all of you guys say there's a cross-planning, cross-curricular approach that possibly needs to happen. And I also heard a lot of teachers need to be okay with allowing things to transpire in this STEM environment, because the students, I think it was Christy Kate, you said this, the students are going to take to it because it's kind of intuitive to them. They know what it means to take these different disciplines and possibly put them together just to find a solution. And if we can just guide them in these different directions and be okay with, maybe I don't have all of the solutions, maybe the kids can help me come up with the solutions, and together as a community, we can find solutions together. And I think Eric or Ronnie, I'm not sure who said this, but being able to provide like real problems, and problems for kids to be able to solve. And one thing that I'm really, really, really passionate about, and I think it's starting to make a little bit of headway, and Christy Kate, you and I talk about this all the time, is taking this engineering design process and combining it with maybe other processes like computational thinking or scientific inquiry, combining these two processes, because it's the thinking and the problem solving and being able to pull in these different STEM disciplines that allows kids to really be able to solve these problems authentically. So I'm so glad you guys brought that up. We have a few minutes left. I want to give you guys some time to kind of talk about what you guys are doing, to let the good people out in the Twitterverse and in the education space know you guys and know what you guys are doing. So whoever wants to jump in, let us know what you're doing. What's happening?
Well, I'm going to insert my background music. My life, for the rest of my life, guys, I almost left teaching to go drive trucks. Had got really complacent with the mundane routine in schools. Yeah. So started doing professional development for myself, fell in love with science. So now my life's mission would be to spread fun, weird science around the world. So we're doing an online class. We ship out science kits. We travel. We do in-school field trips. We do teacher workshops. We're writing books for parents to better help their kids at home also. So for any opportunities anywhere in the world, please give us a call. Fun Weird Science. We have a contagious passion that we're trying to infect as many teachers and students with around the world.
Yes. Who's next? Jump in. Just jump in.
Okay, well, I'm going to take it. Hey, I'm going to be talking to you about Fun Weird Science, okay? But I also want to take the moment to give a shout out to one of my very good friends who's a mentor, Dr. Michael Milstead. I do a podcast called I Want to Speak to the Principal, and we had an idea that we would move fast on it, but it looks like we could do the podcast during the break. So it's like a slow podcast. We invented that. Okay, coin it. All right, great. Right. So basically what we want to do is we want to look at leadership as we move into these fields where administrators have to learn about STEM and technology and integration, because the last 50 years is going to look different from the next 50 years. So we want to mentor administrators and school district personnel and to guiding students to where they should be. And I just thank you for the opportunity to be around. I also wrote the Eddie Match book. I helped write some of that. So I'm looking forward to writing. Great.
Awesome. What we're teaching our teachers and other schools is that you don't necessarily need a lot of technology to have maker spaces. Everyday products can help you build a maker space, and not necessarily need all these iPads, all these Chromebooks, all these electronic stuff that get our students engaged and learning how to problem solve with things such as paper clips and tape and just everyday items that you see everywhere in your house. So and also we're lucky to have a lot of the iPads and electronic stuff, but many teachers are very intimidated by that because they've never used it. And what I've learned is I've taken my students to the makerspace and let them explore, even though I might not how to use these little bits very well, but they show me how to use it. Yes. They become the teacher. Yes. I become the student, and it's awesome.
So I'll follow up with what other. I actually realized that for many of my teachers, they were not going to be open to the idea of maker culture in their classroom until they themselves experienced it. So it took me several years, but I finally got the backing and support and created a makerspace for teachers and partnered with a local university. And just recently, I'm very excited that I applied for Google Innovator, did not get in, but turned that video application around and submitted it and got a grant to bring manufacturing into my makerspace for teachers. And so it's been a fabulous experience. We're on a whirlwind right now, but my kids at all grade levels are going to start creating virtual experiences for our local businesses and manufacturers that other kids can experience and learn more about careers that have to do with manufacturing and making and creating. And so just Friday, I had 10 teachers from a couple of different districts that had never heard of Makerspace that spent an entire day with me, 6 hours, being the students themselves. But what's fabulous about all of that is I've had as little as pre-K, but as old as 12th grade to come in and work with those teachers. And I can concur wholeheartedly with what Coach said, and just to say, bring that environment together, because until the superintendents came in, until the administrators came in, there was a minimal approach to the maker culture where we are, in the sense that that's just centers for kids, or that's just extra. If they want to take CTE classes, great. It was not an understanding of how it could build the capacity for their futures. And so love it. Reach out to, I actually myself, after all these years, went back last year and got my certification in computer science so I could help roll out that programming culture even. So I just say we're never too young to learn or too old to learn either. Keep learning ourselves, because the kids in turn are going to end up showing us what it is one day. They will. Yes,
we we did something with our Q affiliate here in Bakersfield, Kern Q, and we actually had a Q brew, Maker Q, and where teachers came out to a brewery and they learned a bunch of makerspace lessons. Yes. And what was cool about it is that not only did they learn, but we brought kids from the restaurant, asked their parents if they wanted to join. So they came in and joined and learned how to build a circuit with Christmas lights. So they learned all these cool stuff, and they got interested. Parents wanted business cards to see when it was going to happen again. They wanted to tell their students' teachers about it, or their kids' teachers about it. So it just having a nice, relaxed environment for the teachers to learn really helped out there.
Sure, that beer played a key role too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, man, so much going on. So just real quick for on my front, I have a book coming out. It's going to be STEAM related, so please STEM related. So please look out for that. And working with local districts around the STEM integration idea. And I don't know if how to make this happen, but get this big think tank where we can just like push this STEM ideas, initiatives forward because you guys are doing such amazing things. Listen, I did a Periscope last Thursday on PLN, my PLN being like some eggnog, right? We all love eggnog. We love how eggnog tastes. And my PLN, you guys are part of my PLN. You guys are dope. You guys are awesome. I'm totally humbled when I hear the things that you guys do because you guys, I can only be as good as you guys are. So as good as you guys are and the thing that you're doing really motivates me to get up every morning to go to these schools and give these students the STEM experience that they all deserve. And we talk about STEM careers and getting more of our students, more equity, so more students that look like us, more students that don't have that opportunity to get the opportunity to get into these STEM fields because they know they can do it because of a brewery experience they had or because they went to a training from Christy Cade or Coach Jeff or Ronnie came out and did a thing with them and they know, wow, I can do this. So that is really what I'm passionate about. And I'm so glad to be able to lead this conversation. And all of you guys on here, please send out a tweet so we can all follow what you guys are doing, give us resources so we can all be on the same wavelength as we look to do these high level STEM experiences in our classrooms. Sarah Thomas, thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity and this space to do this. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Toutoule and everyone.
Dr. Sarah Thomas, my bad.
Hey. Well, thank you so much. Much appreciated for this fire conversation. So thank you to everyone on panel. You guys brought it. Thank you to everyone who was watching and tweeting along with us. So shout outs on Twitter. I probably won't get everyone, but just wanted to kind of scroll down a little bit. So Mrs. Barnett, thank you for joining us. Let me see. Also wanted to give a shout out to H.H. McGregor. Thank you for joining us. And let me see. I know I'm gonna miss somebody. So Mrs. McGregor. All right, awesomeness. So thank you everyone for joining us. This was a fire conversation. Cannot wait to put it out there as a podcast as well as on Facebook. And that's going to be coming up within the next couple of weeks. Wanted to give a huge shout out today to Mandy Freilich, who has released her second book through EduMax Publishing, so Divergent EDU. So for all of the Divergent thinkers out there, all of the Divergent educators, then that is a book that you should definitely check out. And if you are a Divergent educator, then consider signing up for a panel next week as she moderates Tweet and Talk. So hers is going to be on the topic of Divergent EDU. So anyone who thinks outside the box, it's just really, really great stuff. So wanted to give her a shout out. So everybody, if you're listening on the podcast version, then please subscribe. Leave us, show us some love if you like it. Leave us some reviews, some ratings, things like that. We really geek out about it. So we will see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. So everyone have a great one.
Everyone's